There was a time, long before modern cities, social media, or even democracy, when a quiet man wandered through ancient China, seeking not wealth or fame, but wisdom. His name was Confucius. Born around 551 BCE, he lived in a world torn by political chaos, where kings fought for power and people suffered under the weight of corruption, poverty, and broken traditions. But Confucius wasn't a warrior. He was a teacher, a thinker, and most importantly, a man who believed that society could only be healed if people first healed themselves. And so, he devoted his life to a single idea: how to live a good life in a broken world. Confucius didn't claim to invent new truths. In fact, he often said he was just passing on the wisdom of the past. But what made him special was how he arranged those truths into a philosophy that was simple, yet deep enough to guide millions of lives, even to this day. At the heart of everything he taught were four things: ethics, family, respect, and social order. These may sound old-fashioned in our fast-paced modern life, but beneath them lie answers to questions we still ask today, like how to deal with conflict, how to find purpose, and how to become better human beings. Let's begin with ethics. For Confucius, ethics wasn't about following rules because someone told you to. It was about becoming a better person from the inside out. He believed that each of us had the potential to be noble, not in birth or bloodline, but in spirit. He called this person the gentleman or junzi, someone who lives with honesty, self-discipline, and empathy. According to Confucius, being a good person starts with looking in the mirror. Ask yourself, do I act with kindness even when no one is watching? Do I treat others the way I wish to be treated? These weren't just pretty thoughts. To him, these questions were the foundation of a good society. Because if individuals behave ethically, society automatically improves. But Confucius also understood that people don't exist in isolation. We live in families. We grow up under the care of parents, we form relationships, and we pass on our values to the next generation. That's why family was so central in his thinking. He believed that if you want to know whether a person is truly good, don't just watch how they behave in public, look at how they treat their parents, their siblings, and their elders. A person who disrespects their family can't be trusted to respect anyone else. In Confucian thought, family is the training ground of virtue. It's where love is first learned, where discipline is first taught, and where our character begins to form. In honoring our families, we learn to honor humanity. Now, you might wonder, isn't respect already built into family relationships? In a way, yes. But for Confucius, respect wasn't just about manners or tradition. It was a way of life. He believed that true respect means recognizing the dignity of others, not just the powerful, but everyone. Respect your parents not just by obeying them, but by caring for them. Respect your elders by listening to their stories and learning from their wisdom. Respect your peers by being honest and fair. Even respect your juniors, because one day, they'll carry the future. He taught that when people respect each other, truly, deeply, violence fades, division heals, and communities begin to thrive. Respect is the glue that holds society together. This leads us to the final pillar of his philosophy, social order. Unlike those who believed that laws and punishments were the best way to control people, Confucius took a softer, yet more powerful approach. He believed that harmony in society comes from harmony in the heart. If leaders are virtuous, the people will follow. If parents are loving and just, children will grow up with strong values. If teachers are wise and patient, students will learn not just facts, but morals. Confucius believed that leadership wasn't about power, but about moral example. He once said, if the ruler is righteous, all will be well without the need for orders. But if he is not, even if he commands, no one will obey. In his view, a peaceful world is built from the inside out, not by force, but by virtue. All of this might sound idealistic. But Confucius wasn't naive. He knew the world was full of suffering. He saw injustice and betrayal with his own eyes. He was often ignored by kings, ridiculed by scholars, and even driven into exile. But through all this, he never gave up on his mission. Why? Because he believed in people's potential to change. He believed that if we hold ourselves to higher standards, we can create a ripple effect from the home to the city, and from the city to the entire world. His faith wasn't in politics or wealth, but in character. It's worth noting that while Confucius never spoke directly about enlightenment like the Buddha did, he offered a practical path toward inner peace. His version of enlightenment wasn't about escaping the world, it was about engaging with it wisely. While Buddha said that life is suffering, Confucius said, life is a test of virtue. Both were right in their own ways. Life is hard. People will let you down. You'll experience failure, heartbreak, and disappointment. But where some philosophies tell you to detach or escape, Confucius taught you to transform suffering into moral strength. When someone wrongs you, don't hate them, learn patience. When you're tempted to cheat, choose honesty. When life feels unfair, become the person who brings balance back. This is what makes Confucian philosophy so powerful. It doesn't require you to be perfect. It just asks you to try, to reflect, to grow, and to keep striving for a better version of yourself. He once said, "The man who moves a mountain begins by carrying away small stones." In today's world, that might mean fixing your attitude, being more grateful, showing up on time, or speaking kindly when it's easier to judge. These small acts, done consistently, build character, and character builds legacy. Confucius also believed in the power of education, not just to get a job, but to shape the soul. He once said, "Learning without thought is labor lost, thought without learning is perilous." He saw knowledge as a moral tool, not just a mental one. To him, learning was a lifelong journey, and the goal wasn't to look smart, but to become wise. He encouraged people to read the classics, study history, and reflect on their actions. But most of all, he encouraged humility. The understanding that no matter how much you know, there's always more to learn. In a world obsessed with status, Confucius reminded us that virtue is more important than fame. In a culture that often worships youth and novelty, he reminded us to honor age and tradition. In a time of endless noise, he taught us the value of stillness, listening, and respect. And in a society chasing after power, he reminded us that true leadership is found in character, not control. Confucius never ruled a country, never started a religion, and never built a temple. But his ideas shaped entire civilizations. For over 2,500 years, his teachings influenced emperors, scholars, families, and everyday people, not just in China, but across the world. And today, in our own chaotic times, his voice still speaks. Not through loud speeches, but through gentle reminders: be kind. Be honest. Respect others. Take responsibility. Learn constantly. And never stop striving to be better than you were yesterday. So what can we learn from this quiet sage who walked the earth so long ago? We learn that a good life doesn't have to be flashy or dramatic. It can be built through simple acts of respect, courage, and integrity. We learn that the family is more than just blood, it's the foundation of society. We learn that respect isn't weakness, it's strength. And we learn that even when the world feels overwhelming, we always have a choice in how we respond. You don't need to wear robes or speak ancient Chinese to live like Confucius. You just need to start where you are. Begin with yourself. Speak truth. Honor your elders. Lead by example. Take your pain and turn it into wisdom. And little by little, stone by stone, you'll build a life, and maybe even a world, that reflects the harmony he dreamed of. Confucius once said, "To put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. To put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life, we must first set our hearts right." That quote, though ancient, might be the very guidance we need today, in a world where many hearts feel lost, and many homes feel broken. And maybe, just maybe, if we take those words to heart, not just as an idea, But as a daily practice, we can begin to heal ourselves, our families, and the world around us. Not through force, not through shouting, but through quiet, consistent virtue, the kind that Confucius lived, taught, and believed could change the world.